Welcome back, folks, to the Mailwright Show. This is episode 239. It's going to be an internal discussion between me and Robert. We're going to be talking about 7 of the biggest tips that we've got from the previous 100 episodes of the show. Robert decided to listen to all of the 100 shows that he's helped me with as my co-host, and he's wrote a great post on his website, and he found 7 of the interviews that gave some real powerful tips about how to be a more effective real estate agent. So, Robert, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the new listeners and viewers?
Absolutely. So welcome, everybody. My name is Robert Newman. I am the founder of a company called Inbound Real Estate Marketing. And we're going to share a little bit of inbound marketing with you today as I try to provide the most value of any podcast you've ever listened to. If you'd like to learn more about me, go to inboundrem.com.
And I'm the founder of Mailwright. We utilize the power of Facebook to get you more quality leads. And then we have a suite of tools that keep you in front of those possible leads. So when they're ready to sell their home, they come to you. So, Robert, you know, a fantastic piece of work, really impressed. Who are we going to start off with in this voyage of discovery?
Okay, so today, guys, we're going to talk about this epic episode that Jonathan did without me. And so that everybody knows, Mailwright is really Jonathan's podcast. And about 18 months ago, he asked me to co-host this podcast with him, talking about real estate marketing. And usually in the world that Jonathan and I live in, like if you're going to partner with somebody like a marketer, you kind of hope that the marketer is gonna propel the show a little bit because they're a marketer and they're going to market. So I haven't done a great job of that. I've been sending out emails and slowly growing our audience. But today, I'm going to rock it. Today, everybody lock it down, get ready, because I am earning my keep as Jonathan's co-host. So what we've got for you today for number 1. So everybody, if you're near, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're near a piece of paper and a pen, you're gonna wanna get it. So on episode 219, which is about 20 or so episodes ago, which makes it 20 weeks ago, which makes it 4 or 5 months ago, Jonathan met with a guy by the name of DJ Paris. Okay. Now, DJ Paris, and I'm giving you a little bit of build-up, guys, because I want you to be as excited about this as I am. So DJ Paris is a Chicago broker who has grown his own brokerage from 0 to 650 agents in 8 years, which solidly puts DJ in the top 1% of real estate brokers in the country. It's very rare that anybody grows a team that fast. On the journey, DJ started his own podcast called Keeping It Real. Keeping It Real is, I've listened to a couple of episodes. It's a little loosey-goosey, but there's one thing that is really exceptional, which is they talk to nothing but the 1% of real estate producers in the country. So DJ, after meeting with hundreds of these real estate agents and brokers, these top 1%, he did get on the show with John. And because John asked, hey, DJ, what's your favorite tip? What do you learn when you're doing the show? And I'm paraphrasing. This isn't exactly what Jonathan said, but it was close. And what DJ said is that I think the most powerful thing that I've ever heard or ever seen or ever noticed is that the top 1% of agents rarely focus on production. Like when they're doing goals and they're setting goals and they're thinking about what their next day is going to look like, they're not thinking like, oh, I'm going to sell $10 million. What they think in most cases is they think about, I'm going to make one good connection today. And if they do that 365 days a year, and hopefully you all understand what a good connection is. It's somebody that at some point can buy a piece of real estate that you're selling, whether that's a two-level family home or a $20 million estate. If you're adding one person to your list that at some point can be a qualified prospect, and you make a real human, legitimate connection with them, like they will remember your name. That is what DJ was talking about. and just doing one of these a day, according to him, according to his show notes, is what makes the difference.
Yeah, can I just quickly say something? And I think this is at the crux of our show. Is as you were saying that, we talk about technology, we talk about, Facebook, websites, SEO, but all of it really, all the stuff we talk about, isn't it, Robert, is just to get you in front of a real person and to have a real conversation with that person.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it doesn't really, DJ's principles, and he's probably talking, he's a luxury broker, and he's probably really talking about other luxury brokers when he's giving that tip. The top 1% is just massively populated by super high luxury brokers, because if you think about it, most of the agents that we all talk to, or that Jonathan and I do business with, they don't sell, they may sell between $5 and $10 million in real estate. And one of my clients, Christoph, he sells that every time he sells a home, and he sells it 5 or 10 times a year. Now, it took him 20 years to build that momentum doing exactly what DJ said, and he had years that he didn't sell anything. So it's not easy, but the numbers don't lie. Super brokers, like the people in the 1%, almost 80% of them deal in luxury. So like in terms of personal sales numbers. So that's tip number one. And you're absolutely right though, John, just to tag in on what you said, it is just about making contacts. It's just doing it digitally or.
We can't, what a lot of people forget, they always think that somehow we can produce the sale, we can produce the actual commission check. No, we can't. All we can do is with agent, our products are different, but it's the same thing. We can only try and help you get in front of people, and then it's up to you to build that relationship, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I 100% agree. So that's number one. But you know what? You're bringing up something excellent, and it kind of moves us into another guy that made our list. Okay, and he was just on the show. For those of you who've been listening recently, if you're a new listener or new, somebody who's just joined us, we had one of the best shows that we've ever done. And in my opinion, I'm not talking for John, I'm just talking for Robert Newman. We had our best show ever in episode number 236. We interviewed a guy by the name of Mike Hellickson, and he was just so incredibly ready to do the show, so incredibly on top of his game. The way that he advertised himself, and I've clarified a little bit with some additional research, is that he says, I'm the number one coach for real estate teams in the country. And he sure did sound like it. He looked like it. He sounded like it. His presentation was spot on. He has a website called Club Wealth. Okay. And his numbers are real. He's been a top 1%er since he was 18 years old. He's been in high school. He's just one of those guys that we all either love to love or love to hate. But either way, he's just one of those people that has been a rocket since the moment he started real estate. There's not many of them, but Mike is definitely one of them. I verified his information and I verified his numbers. But here's the thing. He started his coaching business in 2015. And to talk to him, you'd think he'd been doing it for 30 years, but he did it. He retired. He traveled the world for a while with his family, and then he got back into it in 2015. And he gave us, you should listen to the episode, folks. It's episode 236. It was amazing. John's sitting here nodding. He's looking like we both love the show.
He was polished. He knew his stuff. Fantastic presenter. And some of the tips I've been preaching to some of my clients, I've been, and it's been working. Like, how you replied to that first. Don't leave a voice message. Don't leave a voice message like war and peace. Don't leave a message. And then I've been finding that if you do leave a message, I've been telling them what he told us, and it's actually been working, Robert.
Yeah, it worked. It worked for me too, which is why that one tip that you're talking about made my list. Now, remember, for those of you who are listening, this is the list of the 7 single pieces of advice out of 100 shows, that's almost 100 hours of content. I'm taking the 7 little things that people have said to us that I felt were most impactful. And this is one of them. And John just said he tested it. I tested it too, with staggeringly good results. So for those of you, this is an amazingly simple tip, but it's going to change your business. So freaking get a pen, all right? And write it down. Do not forget, bookmark this episode. So episode number 236, Michael Hellickson. The tip is how to get an 80 to 85% response rate off your text messages to new prospects, all right? And that is, you ready, everybody? Is this blank? Question mark. And the name of the prospect is the third one. So is this Kathy? Is this Dawn? Is this Bill? Is this Bob? So far in my test, John, I haven't had anybody not respond. So right now for me in my test with my clients that I've shared it with, we're running 100% response rate. He's saying 80 to 85%. We've had every single person respond so far. What was your results?
Oh, the same. And on the voicemail, I told them to ask them, who is this? To leave a message, to say who is it, and they phoned back. Most of them phoned back, Robert.
So that's the second tip is to drop a voicemail and say who is this, and then hang up, okay, and then you'll get a call back. So Mike gave us 2 epically good, basically call to response things that we're gonna do that you would use inside of like a sales process. So it was incredible. It was incredible. How are we doing on time, John?
Yeah, I'm laughing because this is mind blowing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. It is because when you change the response, just like we opened up the episode,
you get this thing, you think it's going to be complicated and it's got to be multi-level. But it's the most simplistic things and how you use them that get the real results, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. Which is why we have a marketing podcast, is that sometimes like amazing results hide behind simple actions. They're not all complicated. Not every single thing that we recommend that somebody does is a year-long worth of SEO. Sometimes it's literally just you do a sentence or you drop the right 3-word voicemail, and all of a sudden you change somebody, because like we said, it's about having conversations. So if we just help you have 50% more conversations, it would stand to reason your results are going to be 50% better. So these are 2 amazing tips, and we should have just changed your career if you use them. So do not procrastinate. Do us a favor. If you have leads, use these tips today. Get off the podcast and use these tips. Text your message.
I think the other thing he said, which I had heard before, and I think it's proven as well, is he said, ring once, then ring again. So ring twice and then leave that message, and then you will start to get results. Which
how are we doing on time?
We're around 14 minutes actually. I think we go for our break now, and we'll come back. We go through some of these. It's been an amazing show, and thanks for doing this article. You brought back. It's all kind of merged for me. I kind of lost track over the past few weeks, but you're bringing some great content, Robert. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. This has been a fab. I really enjoyed. It's been a really great episode. This last week's was pretty good, and the week before that. But you've kind of focused me, because I've lost track, actually, Robert, of some of the great guests that we've had, actually. So it's very opportune that you've done this, actually. So on to the next one, Robert.
Okay, so the next one, which plays exactly into what John was just talking about. So we're sitting here talking about making phone calls and statistics. And we had a guest on the show, and he isn't as polished as Michael, and he got lost, I feel. And I feel like he is my personal, not Like Michael is like really one of the best shows we've done because of the way he presented himself. He's just entertaining. So not only did he have great information, he had this amazing way of doing the information. He made John and I feel great about the show. He was just amazing all the way around. Now this other guy was not quite like that, but I felt his information was 10 times more valuable than anybody else that we've ever had on the show because he spoke my language as a marketer. His name was Mitch Righ, and the episode was 211. He's the #1 broker in Brevard County. So there's 500 real estate offices in Brevard, and this guy is #1. So if you're in Florida, you already know who this guy is. If you're somewhere in that part of Florida, I have no doubt that you already know who Mitch is. Now, Mitch is a marketer. He tracks his numbers and his statistics, and he came onto the show and he gave us amazing information based on thousands and thousands of calls to real estate prospects. Why we didn't have that episode go viral, I will never know, because we gave you the secrets. He gave them to you for free. Every single other real estate agent and broker, he saved you 10 years of your own time and hundreds of thousands of dollars. So in case you missed it, I'm gonna build up to his #1 tip, but I'm gonna give you some of the little breadcrumbs that lead us there. So everybody, once again, grab that pen, grab that piece of paper, let's go. So you'll get a response 35% of the time if you text. So we're sitting here talking about a tip right now that Michael has given us that's changed those numbers. So Michael gave us something where we'll probably get a response 85% of the time. Mitch is not some genius marketer. He's really not. What he is he's a genius marketing mathematician. And so when we say it's going to be 35%, that's because Mitch just has his salespeople texting whatever. So he's giving us the average of what happens if you're a broker and you just hand leads out to 10 salespeople. And he does not recommend that you do that. You know what he recommends that you do? Hand them over to a call center, because no salesperson will ever work a lead the way it's supposed to be worked, which leads me into tip #2. And this blew my mind because I didn't remember this, John. I only remembered it when I went back and read the show notes. So if you call a lead within 5 minutes, you'll get a hold of the prospect 21% of the time, okay? Nobody's all that surprised by that. Call the lead, 5 minutes, get a hold of the prospect 21% of the time. Now here's what blew my mind. Everybody ready? Call a lead 24 hours later, you'll get a hold of a prospect 20% of the time. This is a guy that's done tens of thousands of test calls. And what he's saying is that the rumor, the legend, the thing that we all hear about, which is speed to response, is that it doesn't make that much of a difference. And according to Mitch, also in the same show notes, in his experience, he says usually when he's talking to a lead, on average, they've registered with 7 different lead platforms. 7, folks, 7. That's what Mitch said, 7. So we're not going to get you somebody that is not got competition for their business. So the speed to lead, it's still a good idea if you can do it. But if you can't do it, if it's not possible for you, it's actually not the game changer.
Well, what you got to, I want to see if you agree with this. What you got to do is not use it as an excuse for not following through, because I've heard a lot of agents, they got some leads through MailRight, and because they didn't do it straight away, they just left them in the system, and then they left them a couple of days, and they think, oh, it's not worth bothering contacting these people. What if I was going to swear there? That was me. I was going to swear. What a defeatist attitude, Robert.
I think that Mitch's approach is to roundabout answer your question. I think that every single person that's in the business of being a salesperson needs to be a business of being a marketer. And a marketer knows 2 things. Number one, it's not relevant. We need to treat every lead the same. So John, if you have a system in place and you're going to try to reach every lead, it doesn't matter what the lead looks like. You should call every single lead with whatever your system is. So if that's call them within a day, call them within a day, call them within 30 minutes. Never pre-qualify. Never look at a lead and go, it's this or it's that. Call them with the same presentation, the same enthusiasm, the same energy that you call all of your leads with, and then get them on the phone each and every single time so that you know what to do with it. There's a few other statistics. I just want to get through this because he did such an amazing job, and I forgot how good he was. So Mitch also said that there's one thing that you can do, and this is his tip. This is Mitch's tip. Okay, everybody ready? Don't text, don't email, call every day, and your results will be 85% better. He actually said that inside our show. Now, here's another statistic that makes that make sense. If you call a lead once every other day for 8 days, you'll reach your prospect 70% of the time. This is not a guy being creative. This is just a guy calling. So if you just simply call the lead, if you make a couple of hours inside your home to be an inside salesperson for all your leads. So here's how I interpret that, guys. Here's how to make that actionable. If you want to use Mitch's tactics, and God, I suggest that you do, being on the phone with somebody is so much more powerful than text. You have a much better chance of answering objections and rebuttals. If you're a true salesperson, text is probably your worst enemy. I hate text. I want to talk to people. I do not want to text with them. So because how easy is it to blow somebody off by text and then never respond?
Well, the only purpose for texting is you've got to get them on the phone. And even if if you don't get them on the phone for that conversation, like what you've just said, it's not going to pan. The texting is the only purpose of the texting is to get them on the phone, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So that's the secret, guys. Don't call, don't text. Oh, and here's the actionable thing. Stay in your house, schedule a couple of hours every day. And right now it should be easy. So for all of you listening, use COVID as an excuse to change your habits. Get on the phone. Every single salesperson that we talk to, every person that's listening to this show that can hear my voice, you do not have nothing to do. You should be on the phone, hammering out calls 3 to 4 hours a day to set up your pipeline for when COVID is done. That's what I would be doing. That's what I am doing with some of my own clients and my own prospects. When I'm not doing the show, when I'm not doing new blogs, I'm actually on the phone with people. And you'd be surprised by how effective it is. So if you can, don't email, don't text, call every day and you'll get 85% better results. And if you mix it with another tip that I'm going to give you right now from another one of our guests, you're going to have staggeringly good results. Go ahead, John. Looks like you want to say something.
No, on you go. Keep going.
Okay. All right. So that leads us into a guy that we were so lucky to get on the show, and this is John's amazing legwork. He does 99% of capturing the guests for the show. That's why it's his freaking show. And I am just the co-host. But the guest that he got this time was a rock star inside the real estate business, Stephen Passanelli, who, by the way, for 14 years ran the there is a word for it, I don't remember, but he was basically a really big muckety muck for Rheology. And then he moved over to be the chief marketing officer for BombBomb. And he's a technologist. He was an amazing guest. He's been basically doing and living and breathing real estate marketing now for 20 plus years. He is an incredible resource. And what he did is he got on the show and he shared with us a single tip that was so good that what I did is part of my, so the name of this blog post for those of you who are listening, and now this is my shameless plug, but I've done a lot of work, John, so I hope you like it. This is called The Real Estate Podcast Legends. That's the name of this article, and it's actually 7 real estate podcast legends give us the best money-making secrets. So it was so good, I actually filmed a tutorial for this one. So not only am I going to tell you about the tip, but if you go to YouTube, there's an actual tutorial that will show you how to do it. So what Stephen did was he shared his tip with something that one single salesperson used to make $11 million in sales over 90 days. 11 million. You heard us right. Million with an M. So the way that this guy did this is he took his warm list. That's the only thing that you need, a circle of influence, a warm list. John talks about this all the time, having a contact list, working it, nurturing it. If you've got more than 100 names on the list, you can use this tactic. And honestly, if you have 30, you can use it. You can use it also. You just won't have the same basis that this guy did. So the agent's name was Jimmy Burgess. And the tip was this. He goes to Google Earth and he looks up a neighborhood and he uses Google Earth to get this cool aerial shot, and then he scopes down and he's filming his computer screen with the tool called BombBomb. That's what Steven is the chief marketing officer for. So he films the screen, and then he sends the email by BombBomb, which is a video email service. So actually most of the emails really do get open. So they open this email, see this cool aerial shot, see this guy talking about the neighborhood, talking about some other homes that have shown, and the way his approach was very gentle from what Steven said. He's just like, I just wanted to be of service, just want to let you know, I'm still in touch with, that I'm still in tune with what's happening with your neighborhood. Here's the videos. But anyway, I created a tutorial so that all of you can see exactly what I thought that he did.
I forgot about that one, but it was a fantastic results, and not that difficult to do, is it?
No. Yet another tip, another real estate marketing tip, where honestly, even if any one of these tips by themselves should be able to change your business, any single one of them. I'm giving you 7 of them. It's insane if you think about it. So tip number 6, and then we're gonna close out with another one of my favorites, but it might very well be my personal favorite because I'm a content marketer. It's hard to say, but we had one guy on the list twice, which I already told you, John, and that was DJ. And DJ, actually, no, I'm sorry, we've got 2 more. My bad. So another tip was just listen to DJ's show, keeping it real, and I'm going to breeze right past that because we're closing in on we're running through our time. Yeah. But the last 2, number one of them, now I researched this guy that, and he was another guy that was just kind of, his personality didn't really shine on the podcast, but when I reviewed him, when I really researched him, John Geffen is probably one of the key instrumental parts to Benchmark's growth. So there's a brokerage out south called Benchmark that's grown from like 100 to 1,200 agents. And the guy that's director of broker relations is a guy by the name of John Geffen. Once I really researched him, I really strongly believe that John has been instrumental in the brokerage's growth. And the reason I say that is he's one of the best. You have different skill sets when you're sales managers and things like that. The rarest of all the rare skill sets is an organized marketing type manager who also will produce for you massive sales manuals, brochures, and marketing stuff. So when you walk in as a salesperson, you have training manuals to read, you have content to hand out to your prospects. You've got all this stuff that prepares you as a salesperson to make your job incredibly easy and powerful. John is that guy. He's 1 in a million because this dude has written so much stuff. And guess what? He gives it away for free. You heard me right. He also gives it away for free without a registration gateway, no email address, no contact information. So when I give you this following URL and tell you what excited me so much, go get it today. He has a website called Do You Have a Minute Book. And if you have an extra 10 or 15 bucks, please buy this guy's book. Please. He is giving you so much value. So doyouhaveaminutebook.com, and on that website, you will find the best single piece of content I've ever seen created for the real estate marketing industry. And that is like a thing called the 450 ideas to sell your home faster. And guys, it's not just some little list that's bullet pointed. It is literally it is a worksheet, is a workbook that is 50 to 100 pages long that you can send out to any single one of your clients. And it goes through room by room, backyard, and it has 15 or 20 ideas with the vendors to go get the stuff for those ideas, and then a list in a sheet to mark the ideas that you used off. So it's literally here's where you go, here's what you do, and by the way, check it off while you're doing it. It's an incredible piece of content. I asked him if I could license it, and he didn't really say yes. But he's left it up on his website for free, which means that I don't have to take it from him. You can go take it from him. And that is an incredible opportunity.
Now, can we leave your final, most powerful one to bonus content, and they have to go to the MailRight website and look at it? Yeah, you're okay with that? Or shall we just, I'm okay about blowing over the 30 minutes. What do you want to do?
It's whatever you want.
Let's go for the bonus, and If you want to find out the final, most powerful, the one that really clicked the most with Robert, you're going to have to go and watch the video, the whole thing, or fast forward to the last 5-10 minutes, which you'll be able to see on the Mel Wright website. So let's close up this podcast. So, Robert, what's the best way for people to find out more about you and what you're up to?
So, guys, I'm super proud of this piece of work. John and I have both put a lot of work to basically get this content, like we both have. This is 100 hours of our time, and I'm not gonna close with how to reach me. I'm gonna ask everybody to Google 7 real estate podcast legends give away their money making secrets. Just Google it because it'll be there. I promise you. And go look at that blog post. You'll figure out how to get a hold of me if you want to.
And I'm going to wrap it up myself. So just go to find out the final, most impressive of these 7 I'm struggling for the word, insights about how to make you a more effective real estate agent. Go to the Mel Wright website. We'll be back next week. We've got a fantastic guest next week. Got some more guests coming up. Just join us, learn more, become a more effective real estate agent. We'll see you next week, folks. Bye. Wow, on to the last and the...
It's actually the last tip with some bonus content. Now, I actually didn't save it for last because it was the best. I saved it for last because it's been the most relevant to our ongoing show theme for as long as we've been doing a show together, which is, like I said, 100 episodes, almost 2 years now. And that is, we had a guest, the only woman that made it on the list, which I think is highly inequitable, and I'm sorry, but we have more men than women on the show. But Krista Mashmore made number 7. It's episode number 224 of the Mel Wright Show. Now, Krista Mashmore is also a 1% agent, and she's a real estate coach. She's all the things. But John, I finally took the time to go really dig deep into her own YouTube channel. Remember, she has one. Mm. Oh my God, was I impressed. Like, she does some fucking super funny, I'm sorry guys, this is the bonus note, so now I cuss. She does some super funny stuff with her husband. Like some of these, like when she said, I generated 75 to 100 leads off YouTube and sold homes, I believe her. Looking at her content, looking at how she approaches it, I believe her. She has 3,000 subscribers, which is a lot for a YouTube channel that talks about real estate. And she is an unbelievable, what I call natural marketer. That just means that she doesn't have quite the pedigree that some of the people on our show do, but she's getting the results and she's very creative. So she made a video, guys. This is the tip. She's got a video on where she boils down 10 or 15 of her best ideas for a video. Now, if you've got the time, like I did, just go watch her channel and you'll quickly see what she's doing to get leads and sales. Like, it's not a mystery. It's right there for you to see. But I'm going to assume that, like most people, you don't have the time and you're not going to take it. So if that's true, I went through all of her videos and found the one that's going to serve you the best. Just one single video out of 189. Okay, so here it is. It's called How to Use Video for Real Estate Marketing. Okay, it's on her channel. Her name is Krista, Krista, Mashmore, Mashmore. And you Google that on YouTube. And the video, once again, is called How to Use Video for Real Estate Marketing. It only has 500 or 600 views, which I think is a bloody shame. It should have 5,000 or 10,000. Every single real estate agent that is in business should watch this video. And the reason that I'm not going to say I felt it's the most important out of all these tips, but if you want us to talk about a foundational skill, something that isn't phone calling, isn't doing some of the stuff that we've talked, isn't getting more aggressive with your text messages, this is a whole nother avenue, just something completely different. Yes, you have to get in front of a film, but I hate to break this to everybody out there, but part of marketing is getting uncomfortable. Like, you got to get uncomfortable somehow. So pick how you're going to do it. Are you going to be on the podcast like me and John? Are you going to make a phone call? Are you going to knock on a door? But somewhere, somehow, you got to get uncomfortable. And this is just another way to do that. And then and I'm shameless here, John. but I did plug it as a bonus. I'm not one of the 7 legends, but I did enter my episode, which, believe it or not, my episode that I first came onto your show as a guest was show number 134. Now, I had a pretty good tip too, not as game-changing as all these other tips, but a pretty good one, which is own your own website. That was mine.
Do not rely on your broker providing a website for you.
Yes, if you're going to be digital, if digital is going to be, then my tip becomes just as good and important as everybody else's on this list.
I also think we're going to have to discuss in the coming months, providing not only blogging, but how you organise some evergreen content that can individualise yourself to Google, so you don't have to write a blog, but still drive traffic with some other things, which we've discussed, haven't we, around Google business page, directories, all that. I think a lot of people just give up. And I think that's the other factor is you got to write down a plan of action, and when you get really busy, don't give up on these things. It's so easy to get into that hamster. It's really easy for me to say it and for you to say it, we know. But if you really give up on this stuff because you're busy with some transactions, that means your funnel is going to be empty at some stage. So you've got to get into the habit of keeping enough time so you're doing enough outreach so you keep the funnel filled, haven't you, Robert? And I think that's the tricky bit, actually.
Definitely. And Michael Hollenbeck said it best. Guys, if you get a chance, if you're growing your business, if you're not a new agent, if you're not listening to this show and you're not a new agent, let's say you're somewhere in between. Michael Hollenbeck had a weird way of tiering out a real estate agent's career, which he's done all of it, by the way. And one of his tiers was like $50,000 to $150,000. And the next tier that you get to, like each time that you're doing something. So John just recommended, hey, go home and do the marketing. And for the moment, you're going to do it all yourself up until the point you make about $150,000, and then you're going to run out of time. And then you hire people to replace yourself.
And that's the next challenge, because some of the skills that got you there can be the thing that don't help you when you're actually having people to work for you, isn't it?
Right. So Michael talks about tiering everything up. And that's one of the things that hey, if you're going to use a coach for a team, like talk to him because he's got it down, man. So through $150,000 to like $300,000 is your next tier as like a team lead. And in that tier, you're probably going to have a whole nother set of people that do stuff for you. And eventually you will give up much of all the work that we're talking about. You're not going to be calling your own leads anymore. You're not going to be doing your own marketing anymore. You're going to have marketing people and marketing agents do all that for you. So, and you're just going to go out and close.
Can I just say something? You're so right here, because what was so impressive with him, apart from the other things that we've mentioned, is that he talked about that, and so many, and I'm not going to name them because they've done me no harm and they're nice people, but you get a lot of other coaches or coaching organisations in this industry, and really they've only got one methodology. They really have one methodology in obtaining leads. It can differ depending on the coach, and I don't see the value after you've learned the methodology and you're practicing it. I don't really see the point in giving them thousands and thousands of dollars just to give you a prep talk. You should have got past that stage of needing a weekly or monthly prep talk. But with him, he pointed out, which I totally agreed, that there's different stages if you want to move your career up the food. And when you get to each stage, they have their own individual challenges, don't they, Robert?
They really do. And you probably do need to change coaches because Because what you're talking about is motivation, and most people who are in the $50,000 to $60,000 range, they need motivation. So they do need it daily. And so having a coach that's going to feed them motivation is going to probably be necessary. But once you get to the point where you're already doing, like you're where you and I are at, where you're doing well and you're already an entrepreneur, I don't know that guys like us or in real estate, I don't know that motivation is what we need. But what we do need, what we could use, is structure and a plan, because we're having a hard time finding the time to make all that structure and a plan while we handle the 9 other things that got us to the place that we're at right now. It's transitioning between one level and the next level that mystifies people because it's so much work. And at some point you just have to hold your breath and hand shit off to other people and hope it works out while taking a pay cut before your income then rises. And that's where coaches and people like that are really important, because they've watched and helped people do that thing.
I've had agents and their personal assistant. They've just got through assistant, and obviously some of them were ropey and probably deserve to get the sack. But if you're just getting through staff left, right, and centre, they're just lasting you a few weeks or a month and they're gone. I suggest that there's a pattern, and the only variable that's consistent in that pattern is you.
Right. And I agree with that.
It's got to be when you really think about it. But I've had a few like that. And, we've all had to sack people, that, because basically either they've lost interest or they've lost motivation, or you shouldn't have hired them in the first place. When you're looking back, you knew in your heart they weren't the right fit, but you just did it out of convenience. But fundamentally, if there's such a pattern, the only variable that's consistent is that you're a lousy leader and you're a lousy trainer and you're a lousy employer, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, we won't dwell too much on that, because you're very right, and I agree with you. And hopefully the people listening to the show, let's hope that John's words aren't ringing true with you, because we don't want you to be a lousy leader.
No, but the good news, you can always change. You can always get training. You can always listen to the thing. If you're not aware of a problem, you are totally lost. The thing to change something is to be aware of it, and then you can change it, can't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, go review that blog post. For those of you stuck with this who are watching the video, I did that the tutorial on my own YouTube channel. This video will be on the Mail Right channel. John, just so that you know, I promoted the hell out of.
Thank you so much. Well, I thought, if you're coming on the show as a co-host, you've done exactly what I expected you as a co-host. I when I started this, I tended to want too much from my co-host. If you got time to do all the outreach, you probably do your own podcast. So you can't expect your co-host, because they would do their own shows. So basically, once they turn up and they help you promote the show. But I think we've had some fabulous guests, and we've had some great internal conversations, haven't we? We
really have. That's what made me look back on it, John. It's not even a matter of you or me or anything else. I sat here and looked at this thing that I've been doing for a year, which for me was just a matter of convenience. It was a matter of having another type of content on my site. You called out to me. I already knew that I'd get eyeballs. I didn't need you to promote the show. I would just put episodes up on my website, and people would hear me, Robert Newman, on my own website doing a podcast. What do I care what it's called? It doesn't make a difference to me, right? But after we've been doing it for so long, and I started to look back, I'm like, wait a minute, I've learned some really amazing things doing this show. It's a
funny old business, the real estate industry, because it isn't jet science. But on the other hand, it's not easy. You've got to get this structure, and you've got to get these things in place. And as long as you commit yourself, you will start getting success. But it's so easy to get blown one direction, to get blown off the course that will get you where you want to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Which is why we do coaches and we do shows. And honestly, it's funny that you should mention that, because I was going through our own shows, yours and mine. And I'm like, I don't do that stuff that I talk about each and every single episode.
I don't. I just wanted to get the mail right. You know, it's taken me longer, but I've got my other business, and I've got some people helping me, and we are making some clear progress. And I'll be having my university thing done in the next month and a half. That's going to be a lot of great content as well. Well, let's wrap this up. It's been a great conversation. Thank you so much, Robert. We'll be back next week with a guest and giving you some great insight, folks. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.